Brand is currently the president and co-founder of the Swakopmund chapter for the Professional Speakers Association of Namibia, as well as the vice president of public relations for Toastmasters Swakopmund. In November 2015, he started the Food is Free project in Swakopmund, growing fruit and vegetables in schools to help feed children that don't have a constant access to food. He's also co-founder of the Humanity Trust, an organization that aims to teach children valuable skills to help their future career prospects. Brand is a passionate believer in helping those around him in creating strong bonds and of cultural identity. Here to speak to us tonight on Culture for Identity, please put your hands together for Mr. Brand van der Westhuizen.
Speaking to an audience is always such a daunting task, because it doesn't matter how much you prepare, there's always that bit of nervousness before you begin. And you see, we find ourselves in a world where we struggle with uncertainty. We find ourselves tasked with overcoming this obstacle of identifying who we are, because we lack identity. And see, we try and define ourselves in a world where what it means to be human constantly changes. And a battle rages on as the distinction between a real life and a digital life becomes ever less clear. But it doesn't help just to come with problems, because there is a solution. A solution has presented itself. The solution can bridge gaps. It can forge friendships and build nations from the ground up. And that is culture. And you see, culture is not just respect, form, tradition, and ceremony. These things best left in the past. It's not for me. No, thank you. I'm a modern man. I don't need those things. Culture is life. Culture gives us background and identity and structure. And these things are not antiquated ideas, best left to a different era. Bertrand Russell said that the only redemption for mankind is cooperation. And culture provides that vehicle for cooperation. And too many times I see people just standing back and saying, it's not my problem. World's too big. I can't handle this. But if it's not your problem, then whose is it? This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, Abraham Maslow theorized that to be able to get to a fulfilled life, a meaningful life, you need to take care of the basics first. And the basics are food, water, shelter, security, and then a sense of belonging, that culture. And only when you have that can you actually move on to a fulfilled life. Ladies and gentlemen, please close your eyes for just a moment. I'll tell you when you can open them again. Now I want you to imagine that all your needs have been satisfied. You have absolutely everything that you could possibly want. It's nice, isn't it? You have food, security, warmth, family, friends. You're free to pursue higher interest, unburdened. And you know what? For many of us here, that might very well be the case. Aren't we lucky? You can open your eyes. Now I want you to get rid of that thought. Okay, so just check it out. Shake it out. Now I want you to close your eyes again. I'll tell you when you can open them. Now I want you to start with that sense of fulfillment and happiness and joy. And now I want you to see that everything has been taken away. You're left with nothing. Nothing that you can call your own except maybe death. The small comfort that might bring you, and a patch of dirt that serves as paste and cover to your bones. Because without culture, that is exactly where we're going to end up. You can open your eyes now. And for those untrustworthy souls, you can check if you still have all your valuables. And so how can you say to me that culture is not important? Respect, tradition, form, and ceremony is not for me. I don't need that. Why? Why do you think you're so important that you need to disregard everything and everything? Because you know what? I was exactly the same. I grew up in South Africa, yet I would never be able to call myself a South African. Because I do not feel that I am South African. I do not have that cultural sense in me. See, as a young man, my family was struck with tragedy at the death of my younger brother. And so because we weren't a unit, we weren't one, we didn't stand together as a culture should, we turned on each other. We were left as ravenous dogs and just started doing the blame game. It's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. It's my fault. I should have been there. I should have done something. Quite a burden for a 13-year-old to carry. And so we were left battered and broken and beaten down, left with nothing. And so my family shattered, broken, whole no more. And so we went our separate ways. And I didn't see them again for a long time. And I decided to travel to distant deeps and skies to find a place where I belong. And I left South Africa cynical. Because why should they be happy when I have lost everything? And every country I go to, I feel exactly the same way. Why should you be happy? And I felt that everybody else should be just as cynical. But that's not what I saw. I saw Chileans standing together, man, woman, and child, as one, as a unit, as a culture, standing up for the right of fair, decent, and affordable education. It could have been so much easier to just stand back and say, it's not my problem. I don't care. In New Zealand, during the earthquake of Christchurch, when you see buildings topple and fall to the left of you, to the right of you, women and children crying, help me, please, save me, please. And you think to yourself, there was ever a moment, ever a time for New Zealand to fall, for them to disband and descend into darkness. This was that moment. But it's not what happens. It's not what I saw. I saw cooperation. I saw this irredeemable quality in them about working together. Ridiculous. And you know what? It's not that he started trying to change the world. Maybe John just felt that Mary across the road, who just got divorced, maybe she needs help. Maybe Mark, who just got married and has a small child, maybe I can help them. Maybe the Singh family who lives down the road and owns a small store, maybe I can help them. And that's what culture does. It brings us together. You don't need a Superman, the Ubermensch, to get something done. You just need ordinary people doing ordinary things, and that makes it extraordinary. It didn't matter if they were from South Africa, Ireland, Scotland, France, Germany. At that moment, at that time, and that place, They were Kiwis, they were New Zealanders, and they were in crisis, and they stand together. Because that is what a culture does. Last year, I had the fortunate pleasure of speaking to NASA's Oracles project. And I spoke to the pilots and the scientists. And I had this one question that was burning in my mind. You all come from such vastly different places, different backgrounds, different cultures, different beliefs. How is it possible for you all to work together towards a single goal? You know what his answer was? We work together because it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you believe. This moment, this place, this time, you're part of NASA. You're part of a new culture. Doesn't mean you give up what you have. Doesn't mean you ignore where you came from. It means that you can stand together and work towards something new. Alexander Hamilton said that in times of great need, we become spirits, not animals. We need to become spirits and not descend into animals. This is my friend Arnu. Arnu works 3 jobs. His wife worked 2 jobs. And they have a small son. They don't get to spend a lot of time with each other. Because they're always just trying to satisfy those basic needs of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Never reaching that sense of fulfillment. And so he was afraid that his son is going to grow up and he's not going to know who his father was. Or just in the very least that his father loved him. That's all. That's all he wanted. But instead of sitting back, saying it's not my problem, I can't deal with this, it's too big, it's not for me, he said, let's do something else. Let's forge a new culture. Let's do something different. And it's not extraordinary. It's not new. It's not earth-shattering. All he does is every Sunday, come hell or high water, he sits with his wife and his son, and they just talk. That's it. Hello, son. How are you? I love you. My wife, my dear, how are you? What can I do for you? Are you okay? It's all it takes. It's all it takes. And so in 2015, I started something called the Food is Free Project. I started this project because someone came to me, a colleague, and said, Brant, I've got this massive problem and I don't know what to do with it. It's like, okay, what's the problem? I have to teach children. It's like, well, I'm a teacher too. I know that teaching children is a struggle. I said, no, you don't understand. I struggle to teach these children because they come to school every day without having a scrap to eat. Their parents have abandoned them and it's left to the elders to raise the children. And so they wake up in the morning hungry, they go to school hungry, they go back hungry, and they sleep hungry, and the same thing happens the next day and the next day. I says, how am I supposed to teach these children when they cannot focus? They cannot think. What sort of life is that? And I asked, what has your community done about this? I don't know. What have you done about this? What can I do? It's not my problem. Well, you know what? 2017 marks the 5th year that I decided to make Namibia my home. I chose this place as my home. I cannot change the world, but a hungry child down the road, I can do something about that. It's nothing extraordinary. It's nothing earth-shattering. Normal man doing a normal thing, and that leads to something great. And with all my travels, through all the dips and deeps and skies that I've been through, I saw that everybody just stands together, works together, and how well it works. And that it can work here. But you tell me it's too difficult. I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you say, I'm not ready yet. I'll do it tomorrow. As you go from tomorrow till tomorrow till tomorrow. until all your yesterdays, you count them up, and you find out that you've wasted a life. Because you could have done something, but you chose not to. Because the world's too big. I can't do anything. It's not my problem. I'm standing back. But I decided to do something about it. So I grouped them together. I printed them T-shirts. I gave them each a piece of land. It's not that I did this alone. I had help, plenty. It just takes one person, one idea. That's all. And community gardens and feeding programs, these aren't new things. It's not different. It's not earth-shattering. It just takes that one person to take that one step and say, at least now, we're halfway out of the dark. That is it. I have this friend. Her name is Ruth. And she has something that she calls a leaf logic theory. You see, the leaf logic theory, according to her, means that we're all just together. We're all just part of leaves. We're just all separated by twigs and branches, maybe some a little bit worn, maybe some a little bit green. But we all stand together because we're all part of this one tree, connected by the roots. And so when the wind blows, we blow with it. When seasons change, we change with it, because that is what we are. We are together. We are one. We stand together because we form the new culture. And that culture provides sense of security, belonging. And with all those things, we become unburdened, free to pursue higher interests. And so, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow leaves, when you leave here tonight, I want you to think that I don't need to change the world. I don't need to be extraordinary to make a difference. I just need to take that one step to get us halfway out of the dark. That's it. And so when you leave here and you face your tomorrow, have a think about what is my culture and how can I help forge a prosperous tomorrow for all my leaves around me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.